Yes, friends, I would like to welcome you the first lecture series on Unit 1 Structure of Banking in India. As we have already seen the syllabus starts with the first module, that is Structure of Banking in India. Hello. The Unit 1 lecture series now covers, sorry, yes, Unit 1 lecture series 1, Structure of Banking in India. The points to be covered under this syllabus is functions of Reserve Bank of India, structure and functions of commercial banks, monetary system, sources of funds, qualitative and quantitative measures of the credit control, banking sector reforms, and bank performance analysis and future of banking in India. It is only a theoretical aspect. No any statistical tools are involved in evaluating the banking performance in future, like linear programming and all that we are not using here. It is only a theoretical aspect. In Unit 1, Lecture Series 1, I would like to cover today the topics banking, meaning Indian banking system, Reserve Bank of India, functions of Reserve Bank of India, and credit control system of Reserve Bank of India. Dear friends, please note that you might have already been studied this banking, the students of commerce and students of PBA, and even the art students who have taken the economics as a subject might have already gone through these discussions in their previous classes. But here I would like to give you the insights relating to the banking activities. Many a time we know what is banking is and how the word bank has come into existence. We may be a common sense subject. It's a general knowledge. What is a bank? If you say the word bank, search the word bank in the dictionary, you will get two meanings in the dictionary. One is a bank means a river bank and a bench. A river bank and a bench. What is a river bank? It is a the corner of the river is called as a bank, and a bench is also called as a bank. It is derived from the Italic word "banco", which means a bench actually. It is the bench on which the money-lenders used to sit and lending money for business activities. In olden days, bankers means a money-lenders, called as shroffs, chettiars, banyans, shetties, like that. So these people who were the money lenders giving money to the peasants or to the farmers or to the businessmen, and they used to recollect the money along with the interest. So these bankers or called as money lenders sit on particular bench in the market, and they used to distribute the money. The place where they were sitting was called as a banco, and later on, the people who were sitting on that particular bench and distributing the finance to the people as an assistant of the finance are called as a bankers. Like that, the word banker came into existence. Earlier, the bankers were banking activity, what you call as the lending money and collecting money with the interest, was carried out by the individuals. That was called as unorganized sector. But later on, the government of India and all the governments of the world made it restricted that no individual can get involved into banking activity because it was leading to certain kinds of corruptions and certain kinds of problems to the people. Therefore, it was converted into an organization sector. Today, we call bank as an institution or a group of people providing the financial assistance to the people. Now, if you see the banking definition, which is revised, a bank is a financial institution that accepts deposits from the public and creates a credit. Lending activities can be performed either directly or indirectly through capital markets. Due to their importance in the financial stability of a country, banks are highly regulated in most of the countries. See, the financial institutions which are accepting deposits from the public and creates credit lending activities can be performed either directly or indirectly through capital markets. These institutions are called as a bank. Uh, Now, the banking activity is highly regulated in most of the countries basically because it is going to influence directly on the economic system of the country. As you know, the finance is a resource. Finance is a resource, or it call it as energy for doing any financial activities, any kinds of activity in the country. Social activity requires a financial support. Economic activity like a production, distribution, and all kinds of things requires particular finance. So now the finance inflow leads to increase in the demand, increase in the what you call as purchasing power of the people. The more the finance flow happens, the more the purchasing power increases and the demand for the goods increases. And due to high demand, when the supply in the country is less, there will be impact on the price system of the products in the country. So therefore, in order to stabilize the prices, in order to stabilize the demands, in order to distribute the most essential products equally among the people, the controlling of financial inflow is the most essential. Therefore, this banking activity is highly regulated in most of the countries. If it is not regulated and allowed to happen on its own interest of the bankers, then it leads to demolition or problem in the country. If you see the basic definitions of the bank given by some of the experts who have worked and conducted research in the banking activities, you will come to know the basic idea about the bank. Professor Gilbert, a bank says a bank or a banker is a dealer in the capital, or more properly, a dealer in the money. He is an intermediary party between the borrowers and the lenders. So one who is intermediary in the sense that from the lenders he collects money, keeps the stock of the money, and he delivers the same to the borrowers. He acts like an agent, intermediary between two parties. One is the person who supplies money, and another one is one who needs money. See, there are more people, there are some people who are having a more funds in their hands. They want to keep it in a custody of a bank and earn the interest on that. And there are some people who are in need of the money, always wanted the supply of the money. So the banker takes the utility of these both. He collects the people who can keep the money with him, and he finds out the people who needs the money and provides them. The same concept is discussed by most of the people, and bank meaning has been clarified. Professor Kinley says a bank is an institution which receives deposits and advances and loans and advances the loans. He specifies specifically bank is one who receives the deposits, and the same deposit is given as an advance to the people, that is loan to the people. According to English Finance Act of 1915, the England is also explaining bank is the institution which is engaged in the banking business under the rules of banking. So this definition is a more what do you call it, tuned up, mentioning that the bank is an institution which comes under the controlling activities and does the same activity like collecting funds and distributing funds to the needy. So banking definition as per section 5 subsection C of the Banking Regulation Act of 1949, Indian Banking Regulation Act of 1949. A banking company means any company which transacts the business of banking in India. It talks about any company, any group of people having an physical existence and personality like an individual, like a bank, a company, means any company which transacts the business of the banking in India. Again, it used the word banking. What is banking is accepting money for the purpose of lending. Based on these definitions, we can clarify with the one particular statement that all banks are financial institutions, but all financial institutions are not banks at all. Please look at the sentence. All banks are financial institutions, but all financial institutions are not banks. If you see the total banking system in the country, it is very confusing to divide which is a bank and which is not a bank, because most of the financial institutions end up with the word called a bank, but all financial institutions are not banks. How to check that this is a bank but this is a financial institution? There are two classifications that bank is also a financial institution, and a financial institution is also a kind of financial institution but not a bank. That is called as non-banking financial institutions. You could find out in our country a two classification, one called a banking financial institutions, the another one is called as non-banking financial institutions. I'd like to draw your attention towards some of the words banks, like for example, we have Hong Kong Shanghai Bank, we have ICICI Bank. Whether these ICICI Bank is really a bank. In earlier days, when ICICI Bank came into existence, it was just a non-banking financial institution. But State Bank of India is a bank. Syndicate Bank is a bank. This is not non-financial institution. This is a financial institution itself, a banking institution itself. How do you classify this? Any financial institution, if they are deposits, accepting deposits in the form of current account, savings account, or in the form of current accounts and savings accounts and fixed deposits, all these three as a source of funds for their banking activity to lend finance to the people, these institutions are called as a bank. And the other kinds of institutions which are not receiving deposits, but they are only giving the loans and advances to the people, not out of the deposits they collect, but out of the share capital what they maintain. They are called as non-banking financial institutions. Please look into this point, because in future we are going to discuss this non-banking financial institution as a separate unit, as a separate module. See, the example of a non-banking financial institution could be the insurance company, Life Insurance Corporation of India. You have what you call as many more kinds of these things. They lend only finance, but they do not provide collect any kinds of deposit. You may be wondering to know that the amount collected by Life Insurance Corporation in the form of a premium, which is a source of funds for lending the money to the people, is not a deposit. Deposit is something and premium is something. Premium is the service charge made by the financial institution like Life Insurance Corporation to rendering you certain services. Like Life Insurance Corporation provides you risk bearing services. For that they charge the premium. It is not a deposit. It is not a deposit. Like we have Unit Trust of India, like we have Securities Exchange Board of India, SEBI. These are all called as the financial service providing institutions, but not banks at all. So your subject focuses on two aspects here. One is on the banking activities, another one is financial service activities. Now today, in the modern world or in the present scenario, these all together things are mixed up, and people are getting confused. But Banking Regulation Act 1949 deals with the banking activity. And non-banking financial institutions are not only covered by these banking activities, but also Securities Exchange Board of India Act, SEBI's Act, and also by the uh, financial acts of the states and all that. They are subject to control. So we'll discuss these things in that. If you see the Indian banking system, it is a very common one that you might have already undergone. The Indian banking industry is classified into two called as scheduled banks and unscheduled banks. I'm talking about banking industry only, not the non-banking financial organization. If you see the banking industry, it is classified into scheduled banks and unscheduled banks. What is a scheduled bank? The Indian banking system, whole Indian banking system is controlled by Reserve Bank of India. It is the controller of all the banking activities. The Reserve Bank of India, if it permits to act as a bank, then only any financial institution can work like a bank. Otherwise, it cannot work like a bank. So Reserve Bank of India classifies the banks into two, called as scheduled banks and unscheduled banks. What is a scheduled bank? Scheduled bank is the bank which is under the schedule 3 of the Reserve Bank of India, where it makes the list. One financial institution which qualifies to get into this list is called as a scheduled bank. What is the condition for making a bank as a scheduled bank? A scheduled bank is any bank which is having a 5 years financial activities and having the paid up share capital more than 5 crores. Sorry, 5 lakhs. Now it has been extended to 1 crore. 1 crore paid up share capital. If they apply to the Reserve Bank of India to consider them as a bank, if the financial activities are up to date and performing well, then Reserve Bank of India permits them to be a scheduled bank. And those banks will come under the direct purview and control of the Reserve Bank of India. There are some banks called unscheduled banks which do not get fully controlled by the Reserve Bank of India. So the risk of misappropriation of funds in unscheduled banks could be more. Therefore, scheduled bank is the most essential part of this banking system in the country. Most of the banks around us, if they are scheduled banks, they are more trustworthy because the Reserve Bank of India will take some risk of the funds deposits made. As a banker to the banks, Reserve Bank of India is going to help them. These are called as scheduled banks. So the scheduled banks, if you classify again, it will be having a scheduled commercial banks and scheduled cooperative banks. Again, in our banking system, there are two kinds of bank system. There is something called commercial banks, which comes under the control of, which are formed as per the 1956 Companies Act. You might have already know what is Companies Act. What is a company under the Companies Act? Let's see, it is having a common perpetual, separate existence, and all that. So that is what we call as a commercial banks, which are established under the 1956 Companies Act. Now it is a 2002 Companies Revised Companies Act. It is established like that. Then cooperative banks are something different, which do not come under the Companies Act. They are formed under the Cooperative Acts. Cooperative Act. What is a Cooperative Act? It is the act which governs the cooperational activities of the people. The members who wanted to avail the help, they who are of the same nature will come under the group, and these benefits are derived from their group activity only. They are called as cooperative banks. I'll tell you the difference between the two with the one single sentence. In a scheduled commercial banks, a bank can lend money to any third party who need not require to be a member of the bank. Okay, member of the bank. If at all you want to keep the deposits, if you want to withdraw the collect the loans and advances, anybody, any public, any person can open an account if his KYC is clear and if he is an Indian citizen and having what you call as all that requirements of the bank. Anybody can open an account, anybody can apply for the loans. If he is eligible, he will be given. But in case of cooperative banks, nobody can ask for the loans, nobody can keep the deposits unless and until he is the member of the bank. If he wants to open an account or if he wants to get the loans and advances, first of all, he should become the member of the bank. So it is a collective cooperative help of the members. You might have heard the Credit Cooperative Society, Urban Cooperative Bank, the DCC Bank, like the District Cooperative Bank. Here, any person who wants to open an account or get the benefit, he must and should become the member. First, he should pay the membership money and become the member. And when you apply for the loan, it is kept in the meeting of the members, and the chairman and the board of members, the directors will decide to sanction the loan, and based on that decision, he will get the loan. But in case of commercial bank, it is not like that. It is an open offer to the public. Anybody can ask for the loan, having the ability to get the loans. Loans are sanctioned to them. Not necessarily that he should become the member of the bank and then get the benefits. So these are the two kinds of banking differences. In scheduled commercial banks, we have what you call as national banks and see, we have commercial banks, foreign banks, what you call as regional rural banks, and then other scheduled commercial banks. Like we have a lot of banks under this. State Bank of India, we have Syndicate Bank. They are called as nationalized banks, and non-nationalized banks are also there, which are Dena Bank or Bandhan Bank, all these kinds of things. And we have foreign banks like nowadays, even foreign companies are also having the bankings like Citibank or Hong Kong Shanghai Bank or many other banks are in the line. And regional rural banks are the banks which are started by the main commercial banks like Syndicate Bank and all that in the rural area, which are sponsored. And these banks will operate like bankers in the rural areas, remote areas where the main commercial banks cannot go to those levels. They are called as regional rural banks. They are the sponsored banks by the main bank. Like we have a Karnataka Bank, a regional rural bank, which is sponsored by some of the main bank called a syndicate bank, like that. When the mergers are also happening now, the most of the old banks are going, new banks are coming. This we will study in the next syllabus, next discussions. And if you see the scheduled cooperative banks, we have rural cooperative banks and urban cooperative banks. Rural cooperative banks are the providing both short-term and long-term loans. And we have short-term loan banks like state, district, and primary level cooperative banks. And for long-term, these things we have uh, PBRDs, what called as urban cooperative banks, and all that. We have urban cooperative banks also called as what you call as signal and multi-state, single state and multi-state banks, like that. This is what the classification of the Indian banking system. Okay. Let's see the things in next classes relating to this. Now we will go to the Reserve Bank of India. Reserve Bank of India, very important one. Reserve Bank of India is the what you call as main bank, which is what you call as um, controlling the activities and all that. So we will discuss these things in the next classes. Thank you. I will end my first lecture series here, and we will see the remaining aspects in the next.